In light of the recent tragedy where Ryan was killed recovering his four-wheel drive vehicle, I've done a lot of thinking about the content I've created, recoveries in general, and how I can help bring out into the four-wheel drive community solutions and information that's going to help people get out there and be safe in their recoveries. Now, if you want to see my initial response video to Ryan's passing, well, we're going to link that in the description below or in this video on Facebook or Instagram. Anyway, more to the point, I've been reflecting on a video I did with Matt from Matt's Offroad Recovery a couple of years ago. And in this video, Matt and I discuss how every recovery requires a unique and custom solution. And we just talk about that. And you see, what we're seeing in the four-wheel drive community is people come into their recovery situations with a one-track mind. And a lot of the time it's just go for kinetic recovery, a snatch strap or a recovery rope. And in my opinion, that is not the solution. We need to look at it differently. We need to think about our four-wheel drive recoveries as a serious operation and approach it appropriately. Anyway, we've been getting a lot of questions over the last week about, can I use the hitch pin in my tow bar as part of the recovery method? Now, I'm going to do a whole separate video about that, and that'll be coming out next week. So if you want to see that video, hit the subscribe button and then you'll get the notification about that video when it drops. Anyway, let's see what Matt had to say about approaching recoveries and the different ways he looks at setting up for his different recovery scenarios. In this video, I'm going to be having a chat to Matt from Winder Towing about using a recovery rope or a snatch strap and tow balls. Now, this has come up in his videos because a number of times he's done exactly that. He's put a recovery rope or strap over a tow ball. Now, there's actually a whole heap in this that needs to be discussed and understood. So I've asked Matt to grab his tri-ball hitch receiver because, as you know, I'm always going on about never using a tow ball in a recovery. I just think it's dangerous, massively dangerous. Matt's got a slightly different setup here, and I think it's important for him to explain how he uses this because, yes, they're tow balls, but it's not used the way people think it's used. So, Matt, what's going on here, man?
Well, for me, in the work that I do, time is money, and it's money for my clients and as well as for me. So while you can show this is an accepted, like a universally accepted recovery system. Yep. For hooking to a receiver. Yep. You use the rated shackle
onto there, or you can use a soft shackle.
You can run a soft shackle through there.
Yep.
So these are commercially available. This one's a Factor 55. It's a very high quality product. It's almost jewelry.
Yeah, I charged him $20 to pick it up and touch it.
So I use this system a lot right there. And like a lot of people gasp at that because it is a tow ball. In my work, I recover a lot more cars that have 0 recovery points than I do four-wheel drives and stuff.
Right.
If I'm gonna rip something off, it's gonna be something under those cars there's just nothing under there. And the newer the cars, the worse it is. And I'm constantly, we talked about it earlier, I have to judge how much force I'm putting on the Jeep plus the kinetic rope versus how stuck the vehicle is. And am I hooking to something that's gonna break off when I hit the end of the rope? Or is it something that's gonna be strong enough to pull it out? And people will ask me, they'll say, what do you hook to? And it almost sounds like I'm being sarcastic and snarky, but it's the honest truth. I hook to whatever's easiest that is strong enough to do the job.
Right.
And I know that I gotta pick my words here. It's not socially acceptable to recover off a tow ball, especially worldwide. And so it's been a little bit of a point of discussion.
Yeah.
And depending on how stuck the vehicle is, if I've got a vehicle that's bogged in the mud, it's got suction on all 4 wheels, I would never use a tow ball. I wouldn't even use this. Yeah. I'm gonna want something I'm gonna probably try to get lower on the vehicle so that it comes up as well as forward.
Right.
It's not a lot of fun to do that, but that's what I would do in that situation. And I've seen videos where people have ripped front axles completely out of. There was a Jeep Cherokee that got the front axle ripped out.
I've seen that video. That's massive.
Yeah.
Sorry,
go ahead.
So what I was going to say, you know, I wanted just to highlight what Matt's done there. See, that there, you'll never see me do a recovery like that. I have seen Matt do it, and I'm not having a go at him here because, because he's done it in a very specific scenario. There was one video I watched recently where you did this. The guy was stuck on some ice on a flat surface.
Yeah.
Like 2 guys pulling on this would have got him out. But when you hook it on like this, you're loading both those tow balls and you're putting load into here. So you're actually coupling onto that hitch in a far more positive way and a safer way. You know what, I think there's a point I want to make around recoveries, and it's this. You've got to take the time to think about what you're doing. It's all too often what I see people doing is what I referred to earlier, is grab the snatch strap or grab the snatchy and we'll pull him out. There was no thought in there, it was just grab a recovery tool and do something with it. Whereas you're hearing in what Matt's saying, and I just want to honour you with this, he's assessing the situation and saying, well, in this vehicle, I'm going to have this go on, I'm going to have that go on, therefore I can use this tool. But that vehicle that's bogged in the mud, I can't use this tool.
Something different.
I need a different tool. So he's going to his toolbox, his arsenal, his equipment, and pulling out what he requires.
To put that in perspective, I've got this little tiny bow shackle here, but whatever I'm hooking this to, if I'm going to be doing a recovery on this little, with this little thing, I'm going to be definitely cautious. I'm going to be careful what I'm hooking to. Usually if this comes out, they're going to be stuck on a flat surface on that slime mud that's not very deep. There's no rolling resistance. I just need to pull them out.
And so you might attach that to the vehicle tie down point because it's a Corolla, a Toyota Corolla, and you really can't attach much to it.
Yeah.
But that would work.
If this would fit, I would use this because it's easier to get the rope in, but I have to, on this, there's a little bit of work to get that in there.
Sure.
And so that's...
And then once that's on there, you've actually got to get the other point through that.
So I use lots of different things. If you're out four-wheeling and you've got something completely stuck, you're in your off-road rig, you're going to have these dedicated recovery points. And yeah, definitely you're not going to want to put a weak spot that could break and send that thing back to you. So.
Absolutely. So hopefully that's been really helpful and you've learned something about that. And I just reiterate, think about your recoveries and use the safest tools you can in your arsenal to do safe recoveries. I'm Mad Matt. Stay safe on the trails.